Okay, hello semua. This is Jonathan Rizal and I'm coming to you with 3.4. So just a quick recap, right? For chapter 3, we're talking about basically World War I and World War II. We call it Konflik Dunia dan Pendudukan Jepun. Okay, so for 3.3, most importantly, we jelas about World War II, but we only focus about it in Europa. So that means we didn't touch about the Japanese. Now we're going to put a zoom in on World War II, Perang Dunia Kedua di Asia Pasifik. So open up your textbook at page 64. They tell you, okay, Perang Dunia Kedua di Asia Pasifik juga dikenali sebagai Perang Pasifik. Pertempuran ini berlaku di the location is Lautan Pasifik, Tanah Besar Asia, dan Kepulauan Asia Tenggara. Kepulauan Asia Tenggara is also referring to your Malaysia. Well, at this point, we call them Tanah Melayu. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then they tell you, okay, so Perang Pasifik berpunca. What is the reason for all of this to happen? Berpunca daripada kemunculan Jepun sebagai kuasa tentera di Asia. Okay. Dan yang menjalankan imperialisme di rantau Asia Pasifik. Okay, that's it. There's not much to go through. Basically, the Japanese, they became really strong military-wise and they were putting on their imperialism to all of the places di rantau, the areas in Asia Pacific. Now, what was the latar belakang? What's the background for this? Look at pelosong kuasa Jepun, latar belakang. So, pembaharuan Meiji, the Meiji Restoration, we learned in Form 4, Chapter 2.3, your nationalisme di Jepun, okay, your Maharaja Mikado Meiji. So, telah membawa pemodernan sehingga Jepun muncul sebagai sebuah negara industri. Okay, industry country dan memiliki kuasa ketenteraan. That means they have the military power that was setara. That means on the same level as your kuasa barat, your British people, not British people, your Westerners, which is a crazy development for an Asian country. And at the same time, serta dan demi memenuhi keperluan ekonomi dan ketenteraan to fulfill, memenuhi the needs of the economy and the military, plus the perkembangan politik dalam negara. Perkembangan politik means the political advancements. That means usually the shift in power, shift in governments and such. Jepun melaksanakan dasar perluasan kuasa. So, over here, for the factors of why we have the Perang Pasifik, more specifically, why did Japan start the perluasan kuasa for Asia Pacific, we go down to 3 main reasons. Most importantly, this one, we call it Dasar Perluasan Kuasa Jepun. Dasar means the policy. Okay, so they have 3 reasons here. We can separate it even more, which is your keperluan perindustrian. I'm just going to do this lah. Keperluan perindustrian, then pengaruh golongan tentera, and finally mewujudkan Orde Baharu Asia. Okay, what does this all mean? Let's go through this one by one, shall we? With the first reason. Okay, so akhir abad ke-19, that means after the 19th century, Jepun sebagai kuasa industri, we already stated this before, berusaha mengurangkan, mengurangkan like that. Okay, mengurangkan pergantungan. Pergantungan means to rely on, the reliance of negara barat. Okay, then number 2, memerlukan wilayah bagi membekalkan bahan mentah. At the same time, your Jepun, they need what? Perlu wilayah, means like areas, location, to give them what? Untuk membekalkan your Schipperrowen, your bahan mentah. Okay, so why would they want this, right? To menjadi kawasan pasaran, a marketing place bagi mengembangkan perindustrian. Mengembangkan, we do this, perindustrian, okay? That's your first point. If you notice, this is very similar to your World War I, the factors, the persaingan, kuasa imperialis. That's because it's all for the same thing, the bahan mentah. Okay, then we go to the next point, your pengaruh golongan tentera, the influence of your militaries. the military people are your soldiers. So abad ke-20, Jepun mempunyai angkatan tentera paling moden di Asia. Okay, so angkatan tentera, that means the most modern military force yang paling modern. Okay. Next, they tell you what, in 1932, Jepun semakin aggressive. Aggressive, well, it comes from the English word. Semakin aggressive, 越来越, getting more and more aggressive. Kerana golongan tentera menguasai politik. Meaning that unlike we say in our country, right, when the British were taking over, they had like the pesuruh tinggi, your resident. Okay, at least these people are part of the government system, like they know what they're supposed to do. But for Jepun, they had the golongan tentera. That means they had soldiers taking over the political landscape scheme of the entire Jepun. So semakin agresif kerana golongan tentera menguasai politik. They were in control of the politics. Thus comes our next fact. Golongan tentera berpendapat bahawa they believe that. Actually, I have a golongan symbol. Give me a second. I can do this instead. Golongan tentera. Okay, berpendapat bahawa masalah, that means the issue of the economy, masalah ekonomi Jepun boleh diselesaikan, can be solved. Diselesaikan. How? Dengan penaklukan kawasan yang kaya dengan bahan mentah dan menjadi kawasan pasaran. They think that the way we can solve this is to take over, penaklukan. More locations, not just any location, locations that are rich, kaya, with what? With your bahan mentah. And to become a, let me give this one, to menjadi a kawasan pasaran. This is basically a copy paste of your World War I punya factor. It's so similar, okay? Then what else? So on October, so now that we have the golongan ketenteraan, golongan tentera menguasai politik, right? We're getting more and more aggressive. Okay, so wait, I can do this. Okay, so the golongan tentera berpendapat bahawa, right, they can solve their economy problems with colonization, with taking over other countries, alright. So on October 1941, General, okay, this name quite important, Hideki Tojo menjadi PM, I'm just gonna write PM lah, Perdana Menteri, that means your Prime Minister of Jepun. Mengheret, which means that you throw something in Jepun ke kancah peperangan. He kind of like set forward, mengheret, that's your keyword here, mengheret Jepun to go into the launching of the war ke kancah peperangan. Let me use red for this. Kancah peperangan. Peperangan meaning the war, and then kancah we can say like the battle tub, the container, the hole. Okay. So that is for the golongan tentera, right? The pengaruh when we had the military people in charge. Then comes the final one, mewujudkan Orde Baharu Asia. Order over here without the R means order. There's not much of a difference here. Then before I forget, we can see on page 65, there's a little corner where they give you the meaning of what order is. So order bermaksud rancangan Jepun untuk menyingkirkan kuasa imperialis, to ignore the kuasa imperialis barat di Asia dan menganjurkan perkongsian, to have a sharing of power, perkongsian kuasa serta kekayaan lebih adil, to have quote-unquote riches that are more justified, more balanced dalam kalangan negara di Asia. Now, how much of this is bullshit? Almost all of it is bullshit, okay? This is also that the Jepun can be rich, okay? So what was this order? Di bawah pengaruh tentera, okay? Bawah pengaruh tentera, okay? Dasar luar, the outside policies Jepun bermatlamat. What was the matlamat? Matlamat means your goals. What were you trying to achieve? Number 1, mengembangkan kuasa. Then, what the freak? Then, mewujudkan, wujud means to create, to have something to exist. Kebebasan. Kebebasan ekonomi. Dan menentang imperialis menentang, oh I cannot spell, menentang imperialisme Barat, to fight the imperialism of the Western countries. Then, Orde Baharu di Asia Timur diwujudkan. Asia Timur. Timur means your east side, okay, your Eastern Asia. Then merangkumi what countries? Okay lah, Japan, obviously. Then you have we're Chinese at this point. 中国, okay, you have 韩国. You have Korea, 中国, okay, and then Manchuria as well. Manchuria by all technicality is a part of China, but you see after their king, after like, you know, the whole crisis in Form 4 chapter 2.3, one thing we can say for sure is that the king ran away from China because people were kicking them out. Thus, Manchuria became its own lokasi. Now, order tersebut dikembangkan ke seluruh Asia, okay, going to the entirety of Asia. But that's it. That's for your influence on the dasar perlawanan kuasa, the policy of dasar perlawanan kuasa di Jepun. Now, over on page 65, we go on to say, okay, what were the other reasons? So, sekatan ekonomi terhadap Jepun. Okay, setelah Jepun, right, telah menguasai Korea, Manchuria dan China, Jepun menguasai kawasan strategik di Laut Cina Selatan, termaksud Pulau Hainan dan Indochina. They put this at page 64 as a little table for you to refer. Okay, then over here, you just know the locations they've taken over. Okay, like over for people who don't know what Indochina is, it consists of Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. Okay, so perlawanan kuasa Jepun mendapat reaksi pihak bersekutu. Oh no. Okay, so mendapat, let me put it somewhere. Reaksi by pihak bersekutu. Okay, who is in your pihak bersekutu? Your Amerika Syarikat, your British, who else? Your Belanda, and also your Perancis. Okay, mengenakan, well, Belanda is excluded, Perancis is excluded here. Mengenakan sekatan ekonomi. Keyword here, sekatan ekonomi. What is sekatan ekonomi? There's a definition on the side. Okay, ialah tindakan menghentikan, to stop perdagangan, trading, serta membekukan, to freeze semua harta milik Jepun, to freeze all of the things that they own, dia punya, I was gonna say inheritance, not the same word, dia punya caisan lah, Jepun di wilayah dikuasai oleh British, Amerika Syarikat dan Belanda. Okay, to freeze all of the things they own, right, almost like freezing your account in that way. So tujuannya, why were they doing this? Because they want to stop, menghalang Jepun. Buat apa? Menghalang Jepun daripada memperoleh bahan mentah. They're like, yo, you cannot have that you can have that much of Chappelle Rowan. Diperlukan untuk industri dan operasi perang. Okay? They want to stop Jepun like on the rise because they can tell, oh no, this is not going good. This country is getting way stronger than it's supposed to be. Thus, we come to our final point. Your rancangan penaklukan wilayah di selatan. Okay, penaklukan, we already mentioned this, is like colonization lah, it's taking over. Okay, then sebagai jalan keluar is your keyword here, jalan keluar. To get a way out, escape this economy sekatan, the way they have like restricted, right, the economy. Pihak bersekutu, Jepun merancang menguasai wilayah di I'm gonna cough, di wilayah, oh my god, menguasai wilayah di selatan. Okay, merangkumi Asia Tenggara. Wait, oh, my pen just fell. Whoa, shit. Okay, they want to take over merancang. They plan to take over the locations all over at selatan, and more importantly, merangkumi Asia Tenggara over here. Tenggara, Asia Tenggara yang kaya dengan bahan mentah. So Asia Tenggara that is rich in Chappelle Rowan. Okay, bahan mentah. Then seperti biji timah, getah, bauxite, petroleum. For me, I will remember biji timah and petroleum because if you look over to the World War I, dia punya persaingan, they really give examples, biji timah, arang batu, petroleum. So these are repeated biji timah and petroleum. So remember that. put on the side here lah, BJ, Timah, and then your petroleum. The rest you can read up yourself. Then, dari aspek ketenteraan, pakatan dalam kuasa paksi, aspect, you remember what does this mean? The pakatan ketenteraan, meaning the alliances. So let me just ketenteraan. Okay. Aspek ketenteraan, pakatan dalam kuasa paksi. Kuasa paksi, then remember what countries are in here? Your German, Italy, and Japan. Membolehkan kerajaan Jerman menghantar pakarnya ke Jepun, right? To help each other out. What did you do? What happened? Well, membolehkan, allowed your kerajaan, okay, I'm doing this, kerajaan German to send their punya pakar. Pakar meaning their professionals, officials, professionals lah, 专业的人. Buat apa? Ke Jepun untuk mengaji. Oh, they say mengkaji here lah. Okay, mengkaji serangan. To study the attacks terhadap wilayah selatan. Number 2, also to membantu, to help. I'm just gonna write the base word. Help the perkembangan industri pembuatan kapal terbang Jepun. To help them be like, okay, you need to upgrade for real. You gotta get some airplanes up. Okay, you hear me? So, dalam industri pembuatan aeroplane, kapal, maybe I can draw a boat. Kapal with wings. Yeah, Jepun. Now at the end they tell you, okay, hasrat Jepun membentuk pemerintahan baharu di Asia Pasifik mencapai kemuncak. Kemuncak meaning the tip of it, like the highest point. Apabila rundingan di Amerika Syarikat untuk menamatkan sekatan ekonomi gagal. That means even though they had like this whole sekatan economy thing, Japan was like, hey, we had a meeting, rundingan, we had discussion with the Amerika Syarikat, your US, untuk menamatkan sekatan ekonomi. To stop this, like, hey, chill. And they were like, no, it did not work, it failed. So on December 1941, what happened? Well, berikut kegagalan rundingan tersebut, arahan serangan terhadap Asia Pasifik dikeluarkan oleh pemerintah tentera Jepun. They were like, alright, that's it. Since you won't stop your sekatan economy, I'm just gonna attack people now. Right. Then if you look over at your 3.4, the page 66, right, they have a small section here. Bermula Perang Dunia Kedua di Asia Pasifik. So I'm gonna make a small corner here to talk about this. So for the beginning, right, mulanya, okay, bermula apabila Jepun buat apa? Merancang untuk menyerang tanah Melayu. To attack tanah Melayu. Dan another place called Pearl Harbor, all the way at Hawaii. Okay, I'm just gonna write H for now. Hawaii, yang merupakan pangkalan tentera laut Amerika Syarikat di Pasifik. This is the base, the marine base, or like the sea soldiers marine base for US. Now, what was the reason for this? What was the reason, right? Untuk melumpuhkan, to destroy, to ruin, to put everything in ruins, armada laut, which is referring to your marine military system. Amerika Syarikat di Pasifik. Okay, they were like, okay, you won't end your sekatan economy. Here's it. Here's a little payback. So sebabnya menjadi penghalang. It can be an obstacle. It can be something that stops your Amerika Syarikat kepada peluasan kuasa Jepun di Asia Pasifik. Because your Pearl Harbor might ruin the plans for Japan to spread, to kuasa, to quota, to expand their power. So then they have a little table at the side on page 67. So they 2 in the morning, Jepun mendarat di blah blah blah. Okay, Jepun menyerang at 3:25 a.m. Then 4 a.m. they were already at Singgora, Thailand, because they were preparing to to attack tanah Melayu. Now, moving over here, seterusnya, serangan dilakukan ke atas wilayah jajahan Amerika Syarikat, British dan Belanda. These countries which are part of your your Pakatan Bersekutu. They were like, alright, I'm coming for all of you, which is your Amerika Syarikat, British, and your Belanda. Okay, Okay, does anyone know what the countries being colonized by these? Well, they tell you. Seperti Filipina. That's where my Jose Rizal's at. Well, he's dead by this point, but that's okay. Filipina, because remember the whole thing where Aguinaldo worked with America Syarikat to chase the Spanish out, but then just brought in another colonizer. So, what are the other countries? Hong Kong. I write HK lah. Hong Kong, as well as Pulau Guam dan Pulau Wake. Okay, clearly Filipina is the only thing I care about. So, kesan serangan. What was the effects after this? Serangan tersebut membawa penglibatan Amerika Syarikat dalam perang di Asia Pasifik. Kerana apabila mengisytiharkan perang terhadap Jepun, Amerika Syarikat, they were like, I had none of this nonsense. Mengisytiharkan. We're like announcing, okay, that's it, we're going to war, Japan, I'm taking you down. So, on April 1942, Jepun membentuk empire yang luas di Asia Pasifik. Jepun berjaya, succeeded regardless, right, to build, I'm using short forms now, membentuk your empire yang luas. Over at where? Okay, no, I cannot zoom in that far. Asia Pasifik. Dengan strategi yang berkesan dengan penguasaan serangan melalui laut, darat dan udara. These are the 3 types you can fight lah. On land, on sea, and through air force. Remember the whole airplanes, the German, they're like, hey, I'm gonna help you with that. So, comes the end of World War II in Asia Pacific, Perang Pasifik, okay? The more important things is definitely the faktor, okay? Faktor pelasan kuasa. This is also quite important. How did it start, okay? So, that is all. Then I will see you for 3.5. Bye-bye!